Two more quarterbacks. Let's
Yeah.
get into Taysom Hill real quick.
Okay.
First career touchdown pass. He had 2 of them against the Falcons in this game. My question, because it seemed like at first when he took over for Drew Brees, we're like, okay, this will give Sean Payton the ability to throw the ball down the field. I mean, that's what Taysom Hill has done.
Yes.
When he's come into the game, he's given him that deep ball threat. And then the first couple of games we saw him, we were like, well, those numbers don't look a whole lot different than Drew Brees. Why aren't they throwing down the field more? Last game, they were able to do that, threw down the field, passes of 10 or more yards down the field. Last week versus Atlanta, 9 of 14, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Did something change in this game?
He looked really comfortable. You know, his first game against Atlanta, he did pretty damn good. And they hit some aggressive passes in that game. Denver, I think he hit 1, but took a step back in, like, development where you were like, whoa, there was some shaky decisions, and, oh, he threw the ball there. Is he seeing the field the right way? And, whoa, I know this play. He skipped the first read and went right to the second read. Like, just little things like that happened in the Denver game. Let alone, listen, that was a weird game, you know, because they had no quarterbacks, and he was probably like, I just don't want to make a mistake, and we'll still win no matter what I do. And I think that always hurts a quarterback to play that style. He was really damn good in this game. He really was. I mean, maybe the first 2 throws of the game were a little shaky, but still got into a groove and led the offense on a number of big drives. This game should have never got to 21-16. You could partly blame him with the stupid fumble. They missed a chip shot field goal. They had a lot of other issues where they could have ran away with this thing either way. But I do think this was a big step forward. And I saw everything in this game. Listen, they're going to throw a lot of play action, and they are being more aggressive with what they're doing throwing the football. He is a phenomenal 10 to 30-yard thrower. I mean, as accurate as it can be. He never loses control of the football, and he throws perfect spirals every time. And he's got an incredible arm. Really, technically, as a thrower, he's really very technically sound. I mean, there's not really anything he does wrong. It's really, for a guy that really hasn't played quarterback, it's technically really awesome. And, man, does he stripe it. Made a number of big throws into some tight windows. Is it perfect? No. You know, are there 2 throws in the fourth quarter that he missed that were crossing routes, which I was shocked he missed because he threw a number of them in the first 3 weeks where I just go, that's unbelievable, great throw, all that. Yeah, he left a few yards on the field in those scenarios. But I think between those play action 10 to 30-yard throws we saw, yeah, that's great. And then what I also saw in this game that we haven't seen, a few just pure drop back. 3-step, 5-step drop back, you know, read the defense, make the right decision. We saw more of that, and I think it's because Sean Payton was more confident in the fact that it's his 3rd game. And Taysom was great that way too. He really was. I mean, he read the field and went to the right place with the ball most of the time. Does he still have issues? Yes. He needs to get off the first read. He gets a little too obsessed with it. You know, and I understand that. He's a young quarterback. He's new. And Sean Payton gets the first read open a lot. So when it's not open, he's like, wait, I've got it. It's always open.
Yeah.
You know,
Sean, I trust. And Sean, I trust.
Right.
Come open.
You get spoiled by it.
Yeah.
It's like a gift and a curse that way. So he's still got to process that, I think. And there's still a few plays of just craziness, like the fumble. The fumble, he's got Jared Cook open for a touchdown. He kind of cocks it like he's going to throw it and then doesn't. And then wants to run, and then, oh, no, I'm going to get sacked and in trouble. Let me try to throw it again. And, of course, it becomes a fumble. You know, those are things that are a little raw, and he needs to work out of his game. But I still think it was a very good start, and he took 2 steps forward in this game.
To your point,
Yeah.
that first game against Atlanta and throws 10 or more yards down the field, 5 of 6, 117 yards.
There you go.
Against Denver, 2 of 6, 44 yards and interceptions. That was the down one. In the last game back, 9 of 14. 138 yards. And he's such a different quarterback because you have running quarterbacks, but you don't often have like a power back running quarterback like you do with Taysom Hill. 14 carries, 83 yards in this game. That's unusual, and I can't really compare him to anyone that I've ever seen before. It's like power running back.
I know. You're
as
right.
Your quarterback.
I don't know. And the only guy I can ever say that about, I think we've ever said that about, is Cam Newton.
That's true, yeah.
And I don't think I don't know if Cam's quite as explosive fast as Taysom Hill is.
Yeah.
You know, Cam is probably every bit as fast if it's a 100-yard race. Taysom Hill, though, like, has a running back explosiveness to him to where those first 2 or 3 steps, you're like, whoa, can he accelerate? That's pretty special that way. And to your point, I think this is another thing that I've noticed, really. It's hard to play two deep safeties against Taysom Hill. You can't, it's really hard to, because they can run the ball at any moment. And if you're, with the quarterback running the ball, you already have a one-player advantage in the run game schematic.
So
now you put a safety back, right? You got two players. So he almost sees no two safety defenses, which leads itself to some passing concepts where you just go, some quarterbacks would be like, oh, if I could ever throw that play versus single safety, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But they can't run like he can, so teams can play too deep or whatever else. So that is one thing he gives them a great schematical advantage with. And, his aggressive throwing, his scrambling, the quarterback design runs and all of that, in its own little way is very effective and really stressful on the defense. And like I've always said, makes you defend the whole football field. And that's hard to defend. And, I mean, again, you can see they're winning football games and little more wrinkles every week with Sean Payton and what he wants to do with Taysom Hill.
All right, so here's the true or false question, the $1 million question. Yeah. The ceiling of Taysom Hill as your quarterback into the playoffs is worth more than the safety net floor of Drew Brees as your quarterback in the playoffs. True or false? You go into the playoffs, you'd rather have the ceiling of Taysom Hill and take maybe some of the mistakes, or you'd rather have the safety, the floor of Drew Brees, and know you don't have some of those big explosive plays. What would you rather have?
Gosh, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one.
It really is. I do think they can win either way. I like the Taysom Hill style of football play better, personally, like to my own person, right? I do. And I think in a lot of ways it's more stressful on a defense, like I've told you. I do. But I guess the inexperience factor still scare me just a little too much. And that I just don't, and just like we saw with, points being left on the board, and they missed field goals, but his turnover and things like that, that just scares me a little still, to where I would go with more of the sure thing within Drew Brees and the safe floor as compared to the incredible ceiling. It's close.
Yeah.
It really is. And as we're seeing, I think they can win with Taysom Hill. I mean, they're 8-0 the last 2 years without Drew Brees. But, again, it's a team sport. It's more than just one guy and everything about that.
Right.
But I think I would still go with Drew. If Taysom Hill got to finish out the year and then it continued to go on this arc, and you ask me this 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, I might change my answer. But as we sit here right now, I just don't know if I have enough evidence to quite say that quite yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They might get the best of both worlds, right?
They might.
They may be able to get both.
It would be awesome if they
more
could.
of Taysom Hill than you would have previously.
I think they're going to, either way, they're going to be more emboldened and encouraged by what they're seeing to Taysom Hill to go, he is our guy next.
Yeah.
After Drew Brees leaves, and he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Saints going forward.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.